Which of the reviews are your most and least favourite?
This is actually a tricky question to answer. There's a difference between enjoying making a review and enjoying the review itself. A case in point, my favorite review I made is one for Cult Heretic Kingdoms. I feel like I fucking nailed that shit to the wall. But making it, when I was still figuring out the production steps, with how much raw footage I had to go through manually, was a torture. Still, the effect is great, I think. Or maybe it's just me simping for the main heroine, but then I'd be repeating myself. Least favorite is easy, Heroes of Might and Magic 3. It was an actual anguish finishing this fucking thing, and the flow and pacing of the video itself is wonky. Close review flow's great, Heroes Freeze is all over the damn place, and I can't believe it's my most viewed review. For the middle ground, as in I had decent time editing and I like the effect of my work, Doom the Roguelike review. Also because the game's creator loves it.
I do not happen to have any elaborate questions, although I spent like 20 minutes thinking about it. Instead, can I have a read?
So my question is, can you list pros and cons of Unreal 5 versus Unity?
No. No, really, I can't. I haven't touched Unreal Engine 5 nor Unreal Engine 4. I did hear horror stories from being a programmer with Unreal Engine 4, though. Right now I can only give a general observation that Unreal Engine is streamlined and optimized for teams mostly comprised of designers and artists, while Unity relies on as many people in the team understanding at least some facets of programming as possible. Unity is not an easy, noob-friendly engine the marketing drones seem to push it as. At the same time, Unreal Engine appears to be a fucking nightmare to work with as a programmer of the team, while Unity is at the very least extremely clunky to operate if you are an artist or designer. Don't know, does that answer anything?
I got a question. Why did you choose to rep the Dark Angels as your avatar? I've always been kind of lukewarm about them.
I like green. No, really. Okay, so the story goes, back in 2020, right before the pandemic hit, I had a really well-paying job. So, seeing how pandemic was, well, about to hit, I decided I'll need something to do with my hands that isn't PC-related, and due to the catastrophic lack of breasts to fondle, I decided to return to an old hobby of miniature painting. As I was buying my first kit alongside paints, I said I wanted to go for a green chapter that isn't salamanders, because clearly I am racist and the shop clerk suggested Dark Angels. So I looked at some of their sculpts to get a feel of them, and I was hooked. And then I started reading more about my boys, and the more I read, the more I was coming to a realization these guys fit like a fucking glove with me. Even when I don't want to admit it, since being a creepy paranoid fuckwit isn't, for some reason, seen as a positive character trait.
You knew this was coming. Dark Souls when Schwalbe.
After you're done with IH&I Episode 3, mate.
What are your thoughts, if any, on Vampire Survivors and the multitude of Bullet Heaven, Survivor-like games that have come out as a result? That type of game has turned out to be one of my favorite types of action roguelikes, but I also know it can be potentially polarizing to those who prefer to keep the term roguelike away from games such as this. I drew some parallels to Vampire Survivors and its genre from when I saw your Crimson Lane video and how that plays mechanically.
No thoughts, head empty. On a serious note though, I keep hearing the name, but frankly, I'm too sunken in my own bullshit to even just check out the gameplay. Give me a minute. Okay, so I tried watching some random playthrough on YouTube, and the fucking cretin at the mic started describing meta progression as a roguelike mechanic. Epion, can I get a re? Okay, I'm not sure what to think of what I watched. But I know one thing, and that is how the visual side of the game seems to be fucking around with my senses as it gets really busy. Well, maybe it's not overwhelming yet, it's not Brothel Lands 2 or the Cancer Caverns in Deep Cock Galactic, but it feels like it was getting there. But yeah, I can't talk about Vampire Survivors really, cause again, I never played it. So who knows?
Which chick from Chrome is the baddest of them all?
Right, I'm not a native speaker, so I actually needed a moment to figure out that you likely mean in the sense of most badass. Not Ming-Tsei, because she's all shit talk about power of Zetrox and not much more aside from that. So to me she's nothing more than a corporate drone. Nicole Parker ends up heroic, which I guess is kind of badass, to openly defy your corporate overlords to do what's right. Carrie. No, my answer is Carrie. She's a bad bitch with attitude and witty shots fire kind of snark that isn't even shot down when she meets an unknown armed man in a hostile base, while not packing any heat, mind you. And if you've seen my Cult Heretic Kingdoms review, you would know I simp all over a gal with attitude and smarts to compete with me when it comes to sarcastic shit talk.
If you could change one game to lift it from being meh to being actually good, what game would it be, and what would be the change?
Oh god, this is a real fucking tough one actually. A lot of the games I absolutely love are very flawed, but they have, a spirit. At the same time, meh games usually don't have that spirit, and I don't think that's something that can be added in post, so to speak. Cult Heretic Kingdoms? The game has a lot of charm, great world building, and well done characters. And yes, some cool gameplay mechanics ideas too. No, like literally 2 unique ideas with a lot of potential. Fucking shame the gameplay is like eating paper towels for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Yeah, I think I would overhaul the entirety of combat in Cult. Would leave attunement system and healing. Healing needs some balance, but it's, again, an interesting idea. But the rest of the combat, rouse!
Great job on 300 subs, by the way. Much respect and love for you and your hard work. Can't wait for the queue and more content from you.
This fucking thing doesn't end!
Can you describe what your dream video game would be? Would it be a specific IP you love that done differently than previous games from that IP? Or something brand new?
Mate, I've been suffering from depression for more than 20 years now. What dreams? Crass jokes aside, if there were a dream game, I would have to make it, very likely alone, in my spare time. Yeah, that's not happening, lol. Maybe when I was at the university back before the economy of this country got utterly fucked. But, oh wait, no, I still wouldn't manage, cause that engineer degree was a spine grinder and a half. There's been people who genuinely had lost their health doing that shit alongside me. So, yeah.
Don't you eat dirt!
Seeing how I just lost a fairly stable job, where my workplace was the first out of 5 that treated me like a human being, and I am going for a massive depressive episode this fucking year, really? Not yet, but likely soon. Seriously, I am sick of being a software developer, even in game dev. Too much stress and responsibility to handle alongside mental illnesses, lol.
What are your thoughts on games who use the term roguelike when they don't follow the rogue formula that closely? So many action roguelikes won't be turn-based at all, while some will have mid progression. Roguelikes, aka. Some people like to fearlessly defend the title against games outside of a strict traditional roguelike, and others, like myself, have enjoyed its broader implementation beyond where it originated. I think I know where you're probably going to end up from your Doom the Roguelike video, but I'm always happy to see if motherfuckers' opinions have changed or even have some elaboration.
Okay, to understand why I react the way I do to this entire roguelike or roguelite debacle, you need but one information. I spent 6 years on engineer degree. Even if I weren't a pedantic asshole before, to keep in it for this long, I would have had to become one instead. So the only thing that changed really was my pedantism got much worse, because I got a better understanding as to why certain wording is used in definitions and why it bloody matters. But yes, I am one of those who will try to bash someone's head in for calling Binding of Isaac or a Nuclear Throne a roguelike. I don't think most people understand or appreciate just how much of a precise tool language is. Or rather could be if one took sufficient care to get a hang of it. And I speak as someone who failed to do so with 3. By the way, fun fact, did you know that in Polish language you have 2 different words to express mutually exclusive alternative and your regular alternative? Yeah, most fucking people here don't either. Or fucking argue how it's no difference in common tongue. Well, if that's the case, then there is no difference to me whether or not I take both of your fucking kidneys instead of exactly one, you twat.
Winmordo Schwalbe.
Given how all I can really say about it is talking barding experience, maybe some prima fucking aprilis at the best.
How is it being a streamer? Good?
Yes and no. Yes, because streaming literally saved my bacon multiple times when I had a choice between eating actual food or paying my bills. And that all was a mutually exclusive alternative, I must point out. No, because Twitch effectively scams the shit out of my viewers with how the revenue for subscriptions is shared. Yes, because I met a lot of people with varying interests who are interesting to talk with, made friends with some, and a lot of times stream ended up lifting up my spirits when I needed it. No, because I met some absolute twat hinges as well, to a point I had to insulate and isolate my community's Discord server behind manual invitations or Patreon paywall. Yes, because I had a lot of magical moments in my 5 years of streaming. For example, when I was finishing Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura on stream back in 2019, some younger viewers seemed to finally have understood why I am this old man yelling at clouds with the CRPG genre. No, when some turn out to be twats, thinking I'm stupid and trying to exploit my kindness when I can and will do a thorough check on their bullshit. It's almost funny to me nowadays how people think I don't catch on their shit, as I'm just gathering more and more evidence of them being manipulative cunts.
Come on, I will get you Evil Islands just to see your reactions to the Polish dubbing.
Brother, I literally own the damn thing.
Have you played the old and Westwood strategy games? And if yes, would you make a video on them?
Actually, I don't think I did play any of them really. I did play some Red Alert 2 more than a decade ago, I believe, until one of the early missions had an in-mission FMV broadcast thing that always crashed the damn thing. Before that, again, Red Alert 2, played at my pal's place when I was 8, but not really anything outside of that. Command & Conquer games are definitely in my backlog though. It's just that thing is too big for my energy reserves.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
You literally just answered your own question, mate.